Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie creator interview. It's your Cape Crusader Cody, and we're keeping it geekly with our new guest, Lewis Southhard. We're here to break down Comics Are Dying, the comic. Interesting title there, by the way. I love how it's just like comics are dying, but this is a comic right here. Lewis, welcome to the show. How have you been, man?
I'm doing okay, but thank you so much for having me onto the show. Just saying that I've only heard good things about the program, so I made sure to reach out and so I could spread the good word about Comics Are Dying, the comic, and you were nice enough to have me onto the show. So I really appreciate it. I'm very excited to talk to you.
Absolutely. So this seems like one hell of a project. What, over 100 artists involved? The chance, what I've read, it felt like a satirical discography of just the history of comic done in your own guys' way, and I'm here for it. I love just all the different nods and all the different heroes and events and everything that you guys chose. But before we dive too deep into the campaign, let's just start with the basics of who you are and how you got into this.
Oh, who am I? That's a difficult question. So I'm Lewis Southhard. I am a comic book writer. I've been working for close to 7 years now in the comics industry. I've worked with a bunch of publishers, and I've made a couple books you may have heard of. I've done the Midnight Western Theater series. I've done the Blackout Bombshell, Villain Seeking Hero, Lewis Southhard's Terrifying Tales to Keep to Yourself, and now Comics Are Dying, the comic, which is quite possibly my most ambitious project to date. And how I got into this. How do you mean? What kind of story are you digging for? Are you looking for how
I'm looking for any sort of story that you're looking to give.
Well,
so
I gotta ask, how I got into comics in general, or how I got into working in comics, because those are two very different stories.
Why not both?
Oh yeah, yeah. That you got me there. So in getting into comics, when I was 12 years old, I knew about comics. I knew I had absorbed comic characters through television and movies. I always watched every new Spider-Man animated series, but I never really knew where to get comics. I never knew where to go, how to get them, and that even that it was a consistently updating thing. And then I learned that there was a comic book store 30 minutes from my hometown. So I begged my parents to take me there, and that kind of opened my eyes. And I remember the first book I ever got was, I think it was Spider-Man 698 by Dan Slott, it has the cover of Dr. Octopus dying on the medical table, and he's just saying Peter Parker. And then that led into me getting into my first ever run, which was the Superior Spider-Man. And then my whole teens, I was a Marvel guy. I was reading everything Hickman with Marvel Now. I remember that. And then by the time I was 15, 16, I dropped off. I stopped reading comics because this is the most stereotypical thing. Everyone who's ever been into comics as a kid, you hear the thing that when they get to a certain point in their teens, comics are old hat because other things become a hell of a lot more important. And then I was 18 and college was rolling around, and I was going through a lot at 18. And this is great. I accidentally crossed off a wrong box on my university application. So I got accepted to where I wanted to go, but because I crossed that box, I got shipped off to Paris, France, kind of against my will, because apparently I agreed to their global campus program.
Oh my God.
So I was like, okay, why not? Let's
Bonjour,
go there.
I guess, right?
Yeah, right? Yeah, so I go there, and I was only there for a month. I hated it. It was not a good time. But the one thing that was great is in Europe they love comic books. So I was probably in a comic shop at least every day, and that's when it kind of boiled down. I'm doing something I hate. I am going through a lot right now, and I want to do something that'll make me feel good, make me feel like I'm following my passions and living a dream. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna drop out and I'm gonna go, like, for a year, go do comics. And luckily, when I was 19, I signed my first publishing deal with Action Lab Entertainment, which, for those of you who know that company, terrible company.
Yeah, I was about to say not so
yeah,
well.
Yeah. No, because when I signed on, it immediately dropped off the face of the earth because of COVID, right? So then that popped away. Luckily, I am one of the few people that got their publishing rights back, but that was only came out of me basically emailing the CEO every day, basically saying, "Give me it back, give me it back," and then I got it back. But
and which title was that?
It was Villain Seeking Hero.
Okay.
It only briefly came out digitally, right when the printer shut down.
Wow.
Yeah. Great way to
kick in the guts.
Yeah, great way to come onto the industry. And then after that, I'm going through my my email, and I had been working on this random back burner project, and I had another email from Scout Comics being like, "Hey, we're interested in this thing." So I had just lost my job. And I had another job just sat there in my inbox being unacknowledged. So I'm like, yes, I would love to work with you because, I have to jump ship. And I work with Scout on the Midnight Western Theater series. We made the first book with artist David Hahn. And then we made a prequel sequel a year or two later with amazing artist Butch K. Mappa. Great guy. And then... what year is it? Last year, I worked with Sumerian Comics with, what was it? It was The Blackout Bombshell, which was a comedy noir about an alcoholic detective who's hired to solve a mystery during a blackout. So when he sobers up, he doesn't remember anything about the mystery or who hired him or what he's supposed to do. But he's already in trouble, like in the underworld. Like everyone, like, don't solve that case, and he's like, I'm not trying to. And then, that came out, and that was pretty fun. And then now I'm working with Zoop on this big project. Like I said, this is the most ambitious thing I've ever worked on, and it has over 100 different creators working on it. We have some amazing support from like legendary creator Mark Waid, who wrote our foreword for us. That was a real honor.
Yeah, I thought that felt amazing.
No, it did. He's a very good man, a very nice professional fella, and it was very kind of him to chip in on this project. But this whole thing is a historical, brief history, like encapsulation of the entire Western comics industry, starting, and I don't mean just cowboys, I mean everything. So like starting from 1842 to the modern day. Like we told via one-page comics, each comic done in a different art style by a different creative team, basically centered around a different book or creator or significant event in history. And then, like I said, it's all done in a satirical lens. So I've been saying you'll see the same eyes in different people, because we really try to capture the vibes and essences of a lot of things under the beautiful, legally distinct law of parody and satire. So we definitely had fun with that. And yeah, we have a lot of heavy hitters. We have longtime collaborator David Hahn, who worked on Batman 66. We have Richard Pace, who worked on another Batman, The Doom That Came to Gotham. We did Netho Diaz, who's doing X-Men right now, and I think Daredevil. Vasco Georgiev, who's doing a lot for DC, and Sergio Acuna, more DC. And then the best thing is, this book is also a lot of people's like first ever published work, because, and I can't say published because we're fully funded on Zoom.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. And right now we're trying to hit our stretch goals. We really want to make a bigger and better book for all supporters. So we're, trying to get there and trying to get as many copies out as possible, because this is the only way to get the book. But other than that, this is a lot of people's first credit as well. I think the youngest person working on this is 19 years old, and I think that's really cool. And I've been saying to people, like, while there are some old favorites, I would also say your new favorite artist is in the book waiting for you. And because of the different styles, there's just like a little bit something for everyone, because we really try to capture every genre of comic. Because you say superhero, there's a lot of different superhero. There's Golden Age, there's Marvel Bullpen, there's 90s Image Extreme, and then you go like beyond that. Then you have Funny Animal, Underground, comic strip. Too much. So it's like, it's just a great art showcase. And I've been also saying this is like an excellent FU to AI art, because this is a celebration of people and the artists working today. And it's just like, it was a very fulfilling project to make, and I really want to get it out there and for people to enjoy it, because this is a great thing for comics fans. And I think it's a great thing for comics newcomers, because it's a fun way to learn as well. And even if you are somebody who knows a lot about comics, a lot of all these people, everyone is saying, but a lot of people I've spoken to have been surprised with some of the fun facts and things that are in there. So you may think you know it all, but maybe there's something in there that you didn't really know about.
So, I mean, it's something we always hear, right? Like, comics are dying, the big two are flopping, sales are dropping. What was the inspiration for creating this and, kind of making this entire huge project? This had to have taken so much time and effort just to even get started, and to team such a huge amount of creators. I mean, what made you want to create this book in particular?
I got pissed off. I got mad. It was like around the end of 2023. There was like that whole cancel pigs thing going on around online, where it just like people going nutso and attacking other people, and people like, it's a lot of talk, a lot of jawing over like comic books, and nobody's actually there was like a lot of big time creators too getting involved, and everyone's like, I can fix this problem, or I hate these people, or I it's all this BS going around. And the one thing I really was upset by is, like, there's a lot of talk and there's no action. Everyone's saying we want to help comics, or we want to do this, we want to do that, and nobody's doing anything. So I figured, you know what? Why don't I do something? Why don't I just do something for comics, maybe about comics, and maybe do something with the comics industry. So I always had the idea for a project where every page is done by somebody different. I just never knew the topic. So I figured, well, here we go. The comics industry, comics are dying, and just have it be a celebration of comics and the different genres. And comics are an outsider art. And if you look at its entire history, something we really highlight in the book, it is a very progressive art as well. And I know a lot of people complain today about certain things, but if you actually take the step back to grow aware of the thing you're talking about, it is something that has always been consistent, apparent, and present within the medium itself. And I wanted to celebrate that, and I wanted to celebrate the different kinds of people that make books and the different milestones that have been in it. And with that, we are also wanting to celebrate the incredibly diverse pool of talent making some of the greatest arts and comics today, which I can say is one of the most beautiful things about the entire creative team, which is that it is a wellspring of diversity and of people from all walks of life, from all over the globe, coming together because they all love one thing, and that is comic books. And I think that is a really good thing. And I think that is really, it's just nice to have something like that. And and it was a way to give people jobs. It was a way to give fans of comics something back. And we only want to make something good for them. So I thought that I really just wanted to make something a bit positive and actually put my money where my mouth is in that kind of way. So that's kind of the whole inspiration for that.
So with so many different events in comics, how did you target the ones that you wanted to hit? I mean, we have over 100 artists. I'm assuming there's probably close to 100 different events or characters being introduced. Like, which ones, why did you pick the ones that you picked?
Well, it all started with a beautiful spreadsheet. So I had to nail down the entire timeline going from the beginning to today. And I had some help. I had some people look over it, and Dark Horse editor Connor Knudsen
was
awesome. was very polite enough to hit some of the blind spots that I was missing. And after that, a lot of research on my end, and the whole point is basically trying to hit the highest points and the lowest points. With this kind of being like, we can't capture everything, but we can capture the most like game-changing, most significant things, or kind of like nail down one thing that alludes or references or is the symbol of all the other stuff. Because if obviously, if I were to capture every bit of significant historical information, we've had a much larger book. That's why I'm selling this as a brief history and as a springboard for people to go out and learn more. Because if you're like, oh, hey, this was interesting, then you're like, you go out and you get to dive in. And I think that's a wonderful thing to have a historical gateway. And it's also just a fun presentation of learning. And I think that's, learning doesn't have to be boring. This, I think, is a great example of how much fun it can be with the right execution. I will say that one of our stretch goals, if we reach, I don't think we're going to reach it, but if we reach 15,000, right now we're sat around, I think, 8,600. And if we make it to 10,000, our first stretch goal is to basically add like an entire director's commentary in the back of the book with like all the some extended clarifications and reveal all the Easter eggs and stuff like that for around every single page. But the 15,000 one, which is our second stretch goal, is we will add 10 more pages and hit some of the things that we may have missed. So, for example, 2 that are locked down for the book, if we extend it more, one, it will be about the first ever like biggest webcomic, which is Homestuck. And then the other one will be about the first ever really like serialized storyline in comics, which is Captain Marvel and the Monster Society of Evil. So we will be doing that. The other 8 we're not sure yet, but don't worry, we'll hit it. Yeah, but like, I don't know, it was a lot easier than you might expect, because like history is pretty much a linear thing. And oh, excuse me. And you have to like hit like the biggest beats, and you have to cover even the genres you're not particularly enthused about, because history, you have to acknowledge it. And I definitely had a lot of fun with that. Like for a great example, we have to mention manga, of course. But if you look at like the history of modern manga, it all starts with Tezuka Osama, I think, or Tezuka Asuma, who created Astro Boy. But if you look about how like he was getting into making manga, he was inspired by a GI American soldier in Japan who gave him a bunch of copies of his comic books.
Isn't that crazy how that works? Like, if that never would have happened, I wonder what the history of manga would be today.
That's crazy. So, of course, you have to add that. And that is, but if I included all of manga, then that, or like the history of manga.
Hey, maybe that's
that's a sequel. Manga's alive.
So I think right now, speaking of comics, let's go ahead, head over to the Zoop campaign. We're going to check out the campaign in its entirety and see what all the hype is about. So while we are doing that, tell me a little bit about what went into picking the creative team. I mean, a huge team of artists. How did you know which ones you wanted involved, like on which project?
Well, it started, when I first started the project, I reached out to a lot of my past collaborators that I work well with, and I really love their art. I started with them, And then they referenced the project to their peers and colleagues, and people reached out to me or I reached out to them, and it all really depended on if I liked your art style and if your art style best complemented one of the one-page comics within the book, because we really try to do a whole thing where either the art style homages directly the thing it is referencing, or is just really damn good and is just like, yeah, we just want to showcase you as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So we started with that. Then around when I got the first 50 people, I put out a press release in the news cycle. I dominated the media, and I put out a call saying we're looking for more people, and then that kind of filled us out at the end. I am happy to say that the Joe Kubert School in Dover, New Jersey, and the Savannah College of Art and Design down in Georgia, their staff and their students, a lot of them came out to really, audition for the book, and we got a lot of
That's
people
so cool.
Yeah, no, from both those institutions to come and help, and I think that was really great. I love both those places, so having a lot of support from them was a really fantastic thing. And yeah, no, we kind of wrapped it up by then, and when we were done with the whole book, we pretty much signed the Zoop deal, because I had met Jordan Plosky. He'd heard about the project, and he was really excited about it, and here we are today. And like we said, the book is real. It's coming out, and it's done, and I'm really happy about that. So, you see right there. Cool. Wait, go back to that. Go back to that page on the right. I love that one. That one's called "All Girlfriends Go to Heaven," and it's about the concept of fridging by Gail Simone. So that one's good fun. Yeah, all these, the one before is about Rob Liefeld and Image, starting with Youngblood. The one above, it's about Jim Lee and X-Men. We really cover everything, and there are really some crackerjack people working on it.
Oh, this is gorgeous. Let's go ahead. We're going to check out some of these rewards, and then we have to get wrapping up so I can get prepared for my nice 12-hour shift of slinging pizzas. Much rather would be slinging comics. So currently at $8,577. Holy crap, what an awesome, of a $5,000 goal, killing it. We have the PDF digital copy at $12 of 120 pages. You can get cover A trade paperback at $23. So the physical's not even that much more expensive. That's pretty insane for how big this book is. I love that. Cover B at $25, and then you can get both cover bundles at $45. We have the I Need It package, which is going to get you both physicals, the PDF and the poster, and then an exclusive retail bundle as well. Awesome tiers here. I always love how Zoop keeps it nice, clean, and to the point. This poster is so cool too. I'm gonna have to snag this. This thing looks gorgeous.
You got to get the I Needed bundle. You got to get everything.
Yeah, get everything. So for everyone that is watching, right there is the link in chat. Be sure to hit it up. If you're able to back, we would love to see it, but simply putting that on Twitter and Facebook works just as well. Word of mouth is always 100% free. And you're definitely going to have a friend or family member who is going to love this. Anyone who loves comics is probably going to get stuck just in awe. Like, these interiors are gorgeous. I had a chance to go through it. I had a blast. I mean, I remember I looked, I was like, oh crap, it's about time to get our little audio check in. Like, I don't want to, stop checking this out. Like, we also have stretch goals too. So at $10,000, get extra pages for the director's commentary. At $15,000, 10 extra comic pages. Awesome, man. This is such a huge project. Real quick before we begin wrapping it up, what did the collaboration look like between you and the artist? I mean, with such a huge team, did you kind of have like a loose fitting script, or did you want them to follow exactly what you wanted?
I wrote every script and I sent it to everyone. So no Marvel method in my house. I don't believe in that. I basically just plotted everything out. Some of the character designs I drew up, but it was really easy and it was really smooth. But managing over 100 people, definitely a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of burnout. But you know what? A lot more it went a lot smoother than I expected. We had some problem children, but they were fired, and then we found some people that everyone worked really well, and everyone on the book was a blast to work with. And I'm very proud of everyone. I'm very happy with the team we made up.
No, that is awesome. So for anyone who might be on the fence about backing, what would you like to say to them if you just had a few moments to address that?
Oh man, if you are a comics, listen, I'm talking to you right now at home, sat down, listen to this. This is the ultimate comic about comics. This is the only way to get this comic. And it is a great encapsulation of everyone working today. If you love art, if you love fun stories, this book will make you smile. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you guffaw in utter joy about comics. And if not, it's for the comic lover in your life, or it is for someone who wants to get into comics. And this is the gateway. This will help you learn. This will help you have fun. It's just a fun little exclusive time capsule about what's wonderful and beautiful about comic books in general.
I love that. So I know this is your first time on the show, and I always love to end it on a strong point, just a piece of advice and what you're consuming outside of creating. And it looks like Mama Geekly actually had an awesome question, so we're going to steal that for my question of the day. So when you start getting stressed out from writing, and I'm sure, you know, with this project that had to maybe happen once or twice, how do you unwind from it? How do you like relax from that and get back to writing?
I don't know if I know how to relax. I very much enjoy reading, which is the writing's sister, I guess. So I just love reading anything and everything. So I'll just sit down for a while and do that. I don't really watch TV. Although I did binge all of Fallout, so
it's so good. Okie dokie, right?
Yeah, right. So yeah, no, I just love reading. I just love chilling out, doing nothing, and then I go back to writing. So
reading's like it's like TV, but making your mind hallucinate off dead trees. I seen that meme, and ever since then, it's stuck with me. I'm like, they got a point there.
The last thing I read was Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy, and that is a great for anyone down. If you're sad or mad or whatever, read that book. Go find the nicest tree in the nicest meadow, and then get yourself a copy of that and crack that open. Sip a glass of Chardonnay. That'll really calm you down, and you'll have a lovely, peaceful moment.
Do you think the trees ever look down like these mother? That's my cousin you're reading. That is awesome.
They harbor the energy, the negative energy, if I know anything about trees.
So what do you consume outside of create? I know you said you don't really watch a whole lot of TV, but what books are you reading? Do you play video games? I mean, outside of the one that you just recommended, what's that look like for you?
I don't really play video games. I read a lot of comics. I've been reading Ultimate Spider-Man lately. I
heard that was really good.
It's so good. It's my favorite comic. It makes me that book has been motivating me to actually go to the comic book store every time it comes out. It's just nice to feel like a kid again in that regard, of being like, oh boy, the new book's coming out.
Get all giddy and stuff.
Yeah, that's been good. I've been reading Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. That's been really good.
What a title, right? I've always heard that you want to keep your title short, but that just rolls right off the tongue. If
you Google it, you'll get that 100%. You know what I mean? The Patrick Horvath was very smart with that. What else? I read Predator versus Wolverine lately. That was good fun. That one was just silly. I've been reading a lot of X-Men because of the X-Men show that I've been watching. That's fantastic. X-Men 97. Been loving that. And that's pretty much it. That's all I can really think of.
No, that is awesome. So for everyone watching, right here is a link to the Zoop campaign. Be sure to check that out. If you can't back, share it on Facebook, Twitter. Word of mouth is 100% free.
I'll know if people don't back it. I'll know. So
yeah, he'll know.
I'll be upset. I'll cry myself to sleep tonight. and you don't want that. So
He'll
please,
be sitting by that tree with a bottle of wine, punching it. Frustration.
I'll be sat in a box outside of Costco if people don't support.
Oh my god.
Yeah. This is what a Zoom background right now. After this, I'll get.
He actually lives in a box, so help him get out of the box. Back the campaign today. With that being said, hope you all have a lovely Thursday, but most importantly, guys, keep it geekly.